So, all right, let's let a few more people get in here, and then we're gonna start. We're gonna have a lesson today. We'll take a look at what the market's doing and things like that. But today is gonna be a lesson, and it's gonna be a lesson not for any purposes other than a lesson for myself. Now, of course, new traders can learn from this lesson, but I'm going to be doing some self reflection on my trading the past couple of weeks and really break down why I'm an idiot. And sometimes you have to do this. Sometimes you have to sit there and think, what have I been doing wrong over and over again? Why am I, not losing or losing trades and not locking in profits and just different things like that. So let's talk about it. So I've been doing a lot of swing trading because the market's been very volatile, and swing trading can be good. I've won some swing trades. I've lost more than I've won. Luckily, two of the swing trades that I've made have covered most of those losses on the other swing trades, but I've gotten out of TTT or TTO today. Now, let's look at this. Why did I swing this? So yesterday in pre-market, or not pre-market, after hours, it had a little rip up. It had hardly any attention at all. But it had a little rip up, and then it started forming this little U shape here. So I thought to myself, okay, why is this getting attention? We've been seeing rips in after hours and pre-market. So I looked at the press release. I didn't really read it that close, which is pretty stupid. I should be reading press releases all the way through because they can sneak anything in there. The headline can be anything, and then once you read it, it could be like, we're trying to do that. They may not really be trying to do that. But I swung it overnight, and this morning it was up to 97 when I got on the computer. And I thought, well, I'm up a little bit. And this is only 100 shares, so it's not like I was risking a whole lot. And then it got up to $1.05. And, I was up a little over $30. And I thought to myself, this could rip pretty hard. We've been seeing big rips on a lot of these coronavirus plays, and this could rip pretty hard. Well, the problem is 100 shares of this stock at 71 cents is $71. And I was up a little over $30 on this. That's almost a 50% gain. Like $30 doesn't seem that much, but a $30 gain on $70 investment is almost a 50% gain. So why did I not lock out profits? I'm not like that to me is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. To be up 50% on a stock overnight and not lock out my profits. Like, what the hell is wrong with me? Why am I trading like this? Why am I swinging for the fences? I've been, swinging for the fences on all these swing trades and even the day trades, and you can't do that. If I had been locking in profits this whole time, I'd be up quite a bit because almost every single swing trade I've been up in profit. We'll look at another one, but that right there was a good place to lock in. Like, why not lock in when you're up 50%? Like, $30 is not that much, but neither is a $70 investment to make 50% of your money. That was a good swing trade at that point, but I held too long, and of course, I kept thinking big. It's going to break $1. It tried to break $1 in pre-market. It came up to $1 again, a second test. That type of thinking right there is going to cause me to blow up accounts or not last in the stock market very long without putting more money in. So that type of thinking I've got to get away from. Completely got to get away from swinging for the fences. Because a 50% gain is a 50% gain, whether it's a $1 in profit or $10,000 in profit. A 50% gain is more than most investors make on their long-term stocks in a year, and I made a 50. I had the potential to make a 50% gain within 12 hours. So I'm swinging for the fences, me being extremely greedy. And I'm thinking to myself, why am I being extremely greedy right now? This is a very volatile market. This is not the market I should be greedy in. You know, I've been telling everybody for a while, back when this started, you know, if you're in a trade and you're up in profit, just lock it in. You know, you're doing good if you lock in profit. So there's no news on AYT yet, or AYTU yet. So we'll look at another stock here, NBY today. Now, NBY started coming out. Let's look at this on the 5-minute. On the 30-minute, it tells a whole different story, which you look at the 30-minute, then it's not a good idea to even get in this stock. But NBY had a nice, massive rip in pre-market from 75 cents up to $1.25. And then had a nice sell-off. And once again, out the gate, it started breaking the dollar. And I thought, okay, I should go on this. I should go for that break of $1. Not too bad of an idea, but except it already broke $1. That dollar breakup pattern has already happened. You can see back all the way to August back here, it's not been over $1. Well, that $1 rip, it happened in pre-market. I missed that. So now getting in anywhere point in at any point in this stock, I'm kind of chasing. You know, because the breakout's already happened. So this is a chase. So even, you know, thinking it could re-break $1, it might run, which it went up to 107, but still, you can't be chasing. If you're chasing, then most times you're going to lose. And that's why I feel it's appropriate that I'm wearing my Ricky Bobby shirt. All right, if you guys can see that. And what this shirt says, it says, if you're not first, you're last. So basically, if you're not first to the party, if you're not in this first initial rip, and you're getting in over here, you're last. You're in last place. You don't want to be in last place in the stock market. So that's the problem with that trade. I was chasing. And then, of course, at the same time, yeah, that's what I'm saying. My own advice it'd be nice if I would listen to my own advice, but I have an issue where I decide to go crazy. But same thing, you know, the NBY, this is me chasing, this is me being greedy because I missed this move. So we'll look at some other ones. I still am holding my DECN trade. This is a pure gamble. I told you guys it was a pure gamble as soon as I made this. Why am I gambling? I don't know. That's just stupid. Pure stupidity to be gambling in a volatile market like this. You know, I'm not going to sell this at this point because there's no point to. It's an OTC stock, so there's still a commission fee on it. So I'm either going to have 300 shares of DECN for the rest of my life, which is a rookie trader move. And I have, from where I first started, in this same account, I have some stocks from when I was a rookie trader that I'm still holding because it's more expensive to sell them than it is to actually keep them. And that's what DECN is going to end up being unless for some reason it does get some crazy rip. But, I mean, you know, I'm swinging this, it cracked this trend line. It probably isn't going to get a crazy rip. Once again, you know, I got in this as a gamble, but the initial rips were back here. So, once again, I was last on this trade. I got in last. I wasn't first. I wasn't down here in this 3 cent range or even 5 cent range for this rip. So once again, my greediness has put me on the opposite side of momentum. So that is an issue. And AYTU is still up in the air. The verdict is still out on this stock, what this is going to do. This stock has been just a wild ride. But once again, you know, it got up to 225 yesterday. I've been holding this swing for a while. And at 225, I was up, I think, $175 or something like that. So let's think about that for a second. I have 200 shares that I got in at $1.45. So that's $290. Okay? And I was up almost $175. That is over a 50% gain that I did not lock in. That is actually like a 60 to 65% gain. So, like, even if I still think this is going to rip, I should have locked in some profit there. It's not every single day that you get 60% gains. This is another swing where I was up 60% and didn't lock it in. So maybe I'm being greedy on AYTU by still holding. Like I said, the verdict's still out on that, but it is up. It is on this uptrend on the daily. It has a trend. You know, it's got moving averages below it, and it still has more news to come out with. So that one, you know, I still don't think that I'm doing bad on this one. I just think it was dumb not to lock any profit in, because I could have easily locked some profit in up here and then bought back in right here near my entry at 155. So I could have had some profit off of AYTU already and then still had the same amount of shares that I had before this profit. But me being greedy and trying to hold, thinking this is going to rip, you know, like I said, I was up 60%. And this could have inevitably been happening the entire time on AYTU, you know. Like, AYTU has had several little rips where I could have made very big, or not, maybe not very big gains, but good gains, 20 to 50% gains by locking out and then getting back in different areas. But I've been holding. And I'm going to keep holding for now, for this week, and beginning of the next week, and we'll see what happens. As long as it's holding up, and as long as this trend line is still going up, you know, it's still bullish and has that momentum. I mean, it did drop the last 2 days, but like I said, we have a trend line down here, and the 200 is right here as well. So we will see. But basically, on all my trades, it's all been greed. It's all been emotional, and it's all been greed and being emotional. Either I'm last on a trade or I'm first, but I'm not locking in the profits when I have them. It is really insane to think that I have not been locking in 50 to 60% gains on the positions that I've had. And it's been on multiple stocks. It's been on multiple swings and multiple day trades where I've been up and just been like, nah, it's not enough. But yeah, it's honestly frustrating to think about how bad I've been trading and start breaking this down. And when you look at it with logic, it's like, okay, I'm an idiot. I'm willing to accept that, but it's frustrating because with all this greed and FOMO and stuff like that that's been happening, you know, it's a highly emotional time, so it's very hard to keep emotions in check. I understand that for, you know, a lot of people would have troubles right now, but I know better. And the fact that I know better and still am making these mistakes is pretty crazy. Now, another thing, look at this watch list. This watch list has way too many stocks on it. You know, so I'm starting out at the morning looking for some stocks and adding them to these watch lists, and these watch lists are just getting bigger and bigger. I'm actually not going to delete IMAC yet, because IMAC possibly could have a continuation run tomorrow. You know, we've seen this kind of over and over again, these continuation runs. So I'm gonna keep IMAC on there, but a lot of this other stuff I'm gonna take off. Because there's no reason to have all these stocks on here when I'm not trading them. Now, one thing, I've had KTOV on this list. I'm just keeping an eye on it. It is on a slight uptrend. It hit its lows of 22 cents and it's up to 25 cents now. This is a pharmaceutical stock. So I'm just keeping an eye on it for maybe if it comes out with a press release at some point about the coronavirus. If it does. May not. But, you know, we've seen several stocks, quite a bit, run from these prices down here to up over $1. The good thing is at least I got out of TTO without taking a loss. You can see there my profit, my P&L open 0. I actually sold and got out right at where my entry was, so I didn't take a loss or make a profit on it. But yeah, and then let's take MBY off. MBY is coming up a little bit. So we're at market close. Now another interesting thing about today is the SPY. You got burnt on KTOV twice last year. Well, then we probably shouldn't. You know what? We're in a renaissance. I'm in a trading renaissance of where I'm making decisions and clearing things out. So I do still have my acre swing. Just because Acre still really hasn't ripped, but they just bought the company out that has licenses for coronavirus. So I'm expecting Acre to have some type of press release that might, you know, get it going. But once Acre, you know, if it does have a little rip or something, I'm going to get out of it. I'm not going to hold this for 2 weeks or anything like that. I'm giving it till tomorrow or the next day to come out with another press release. And that's if it holds up. If it starts breaking below 2, I'm getting out of it. But the SPY today, if we look at our chart, yesterday it broke out of this downtrend channel, and now we are actually even higher. We got all the way up to 255 on the SPY. So I think this is a fake rebound. I don't think this is the bottom of the market. I don't think the bottom was 218. Yeah, for sure. Acre just needs a catalyst. That's what I'm saying. And I think Acre will have a catalyst. But I'm not going, like I said, I'm not going to hold it. If I get up in any profit at all in Acre, I'm locking in. And that's basically where I'm going after this self-reflection is I'm going to be locking in profits when I have them. You know, at least some profits if I'm in a day trade and I still think it can rip. I'm locking in something. Yeah, I like Acre. That's what I'm saying. I think it has potential, and I've traded Acre quite a lot in the past, so I'm familiar with the way the stock moves. But the SPY, you know, I don't think we're at the bottom of the market yet. It is kind of strange to see it out of this downtrend channel that it was in for 2 weeks. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to start buying in back into stocks thinking that we're going to rebound. I agree with One Life. If you guys were in the Facebook group, One Life was doing a stream earlier and he was saying, you know, he thinks tomorrow when unemployment numbers come out that the market's going to crash pretty hard. And the government may be aware of that because they're trying to get this bill, the stimulus package bill, out today. And maybe what their plan is try to get the market to bounce higher before unemployment comes out. So if the unemployment does drop the market, it'll drop down to maybe right above this outside channel down trend line. Yeah. Behind, yeah, you are correct, Daniel B. Behind each price movement is people. And you know, a lot of my trading is actually based psychologically. Like, I know I use trend lines and moving averages and things like that. The problem is, if my emotions are not in check, if I am not staying disciplined, it's hard to psychologically beat the other people in the market to get those wins. That's why it's so important to control your emotions, because my type of trading is momentum based off of psychology. And I have not been doing that whatsoever. So we got to look at that. We got to look at how people can move the price up or move the price down, and what areas that will happen at. And that's why I say moving averages are important, Daniel B, because if everybody else is looking at those moving averages, just like you said, then those moving averages will act as support and resistance. What you have to do as a momentum trader is try to psychologically understand at that resistance line. Just say, for instance, Acre here, right here at 291. That's a resistance line. We also know $3 would be a resistance line as a natural resistance. So we know there's resistance there. At what point will this break resistance? We need to know the volume. Is there enough volume, enough people to break that resistance line? Is there a catalyst to get people excited to break that resistance line? Is this a stock that people would be interested in trading that would push this resistance line? It's things like that we have to look at. And we have to look at the whole scope, not just a press release or not just volume. It has to be a total package deal if you're going to make a good decision, because you need to make informed decisions. If your decisions aren't informed, then you're basically making decisions off of nothing. So my decision to hold Acre is because, like I said, I know in the past Acre has ripped. It's done it before. You can see back here in last April, Acre was up to $28. But Acre was cheaper than that before, I think. Let me see. Let me look at a 2-year chart here. If I can remember correctly. I'm trying to remember. So November. Yeah, Acre came down. But you can look, Acre's had some moves in the past. But like I said, I understand that. I also understand that there's a gap back here at 350. There's a gap to fill at 350 to 5 something. So with a catalyst, Acre definitely could move. Whether to get that catalyst or not, that's where I'm too late at. AAL. Let's see. Do I think it will reach today? Is that what you're asking, Mark? If it'll break over today, or are you talking about tomorrow? This is American Airlines. Here's the thing. Probably not. Here's the concern with any stocks like American Airlines or anything that's been rebounding after they have had these initial big sell-offs. If unemployment rates come out tomorrow and they're terrible, which most likely they're going to be since hardly anybody is working, then the market's probably going to crash pretty hard. So if the market's crashing, I doubt American Airlines or any of those plays that have been rebounding are going to move up anymore. But we'll see. We'll see about the unemployment rates. We'll see when it comes out tomorrow what happens. Because the thing is that it's so hard right now to say. Because this is a pretty big drop on the SPY for the market. So is the coronavirus and unemployment rates and all that priced in? Was this the price in for all this nonsense? Or is this just the beginning of the price in? So I think right now, yeah, the feds are pumping the SPY for sure. But I think it's a gamble if you're thinking about swinging it. I don't know if you're in it or what you're doing with it, but like I said, tomorrow unemployment rates are going to be coming out, and that's going to be the thing. What is going to happen tomorrow? And I think right now, we're most likely going to drop. I'd be surprised if we didn't drop. So, I like it. It's American Airlines. This is their. Warren Buffett bought into Delta a couple of weeks ago or something like that. Like a week ago, Warren Buffett bought into Delta when it cracked down to, I think, let's see, where was it? Where did he buy in at? I think it was somewhere like $37. I think Warren Buffett bought a bunch of shares of Delta, like right here. So even Warren Buffett in this market, he doesn't even know what's going on in this Warren Buffett because he bought in here and it dropped all the way to 19. So whatever his initial investment was, he was down 50% a few days after he bought a bunch of Delta. So that's where it gets like, if Warren Buffett's wrong, then who could guess what this market's going to do? There's no telling. And if you just have to belittle yourself and say, listen, I'm not a billionaire like Warren Buffett. So if he doesn't know what's going on, why would I think I would know what's going on, basically? So, if you're thinking long term, if you're already in American Airlines, then, if you got in down here while it was cheap at $10, even if the market does crash out anymore, how much more could American Airlines drop? It could drop $10, but eventually it's going to rebound and get back up to some higher numbers. So I don't know. It depends on it just depends on what you're trying to do with it, Mark, of what you want to do. Because I don't, if it's a swing trade overnight though, that would be a little risky to me. But if you're talking long term and you're already in it, I wouldn't worry about it. So yeah, now I've got this list a little bit lower. This watch list. Yeah, long term. Are you already in it, Mark? Did you already buy into American Airlines? Or are you looking for an entry? Because if you're not already in it and you're just looking for an entry, I would just wait until after the employment numbers come out tomorrow and see if the market drops more. Because you might, if you're not in it, you might be able to get in lower. Yeah, well, I mean, if you bought it for long term, then hold it, because $10 is still cheap compared to what it was, and the lowest it can go is down to zero, which would be pretty crazy at that point. I mean, it's a big company. They would have to go bank. They'd have to go out of business for it to even go down to zero. So, I mean, I'd say you're fine. Let's look at it on a 10-year, because I don't see why it would. So I mean, it has been on a downtrend like the past 5 years. Yeah, I mean, it has been on a downtrend, but I would just I would just check their debt, see how much debt to cash they have. If they have way more debt than they do cash, it might get a little sketchy, but it sounds like the government's going to try to bail the travel industry out, so if that's the case, they probably could survive. So yeah, see what is AYTU doing here in after hours? AYTU has been moving more, I think, in pre-market and after hours than it has during the day. So why are you telling them to sell it? One Life. Yeah, they're supposed to be bailing out the airline. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you're already in it. Uh, because like I said, nobody knows. Nobody knows whether or not, if this is the rebound. Like, we could already be rebounding. I don't think it is. I think well, need to look at the SPY, not American Airlines, but it kind of they're kind of the same, the way they're running. But I don't think I don't think it's going to rebound. But it's hard to say. Nobody can really predict it. So eventually, as long as American Airlines doesn't go out of business, eventually the stock price will go back up some. Yeah, I mean, Junior, yeah, possibly. I mean, the most likely thing to happen is they come out with the unemployment numbers, they're way higher than they're supposed to be, and there's going to be a sell off. But with the feds pumping money into the market and people starting to think that this might be a rebound, there's always the possibility that it could just keep rebounding. No, that's the thing. Nobody knows, and there's no way to tell. Like right now, in this point, I have no idea. So if you think American Airlines is going to be here after this recession, then yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say what the market's going to do. I think it's still going down. I think it's going to, but you know, like I said, Warren Buffett was wrong on his American or his Delta airline purchase, or maybe he was right. I don't know, but I don't know what his goal was, but I just know that he's down right now on that American or that Delta Airlines purchase. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. We've got the stimulus See, that's the thing too. We got the stimulus package coming out. Uh, we've got the stimulus package coming out right around the same time as these unemployment numbers. So what is the overall market sentiment going to be? Is it going to be, okay, people are unemployed, but they're getting, $2,000 to survive on? So does that will that balance out, or will everybody panic some more? Oh God, everybody's unemployed. The stock market's going to sell off. Or is everything already priced in the SPY? Like I said, who's to say that this wasn't pricing everything in, you know? So at this point, I have no idea, really. I think it's going to keep dropping. I think the stock market's going to drop more. I don't think we're close to done. I'm still sticking to that, but I mean, who really knows? So, but basically, guys, at this point, I'm just waiting for this AYTU swing to pan out and this AKER swing to pan out, and then I'm gonna, focus in on just day trading. I'm not gonna do any more swing trades unless the only way I'm gonna do any more swing trading is inverse ETF if the market does look like it's gonna start crashing again, or if the market looks like we're at close to or near a bottom and there's some stocks that I think might be some good stocks to swing on the rebound. But other than that, I'm not swinging any more coronavirus plays. I'm not doing any more of that. I'm going to try to stick to mainly day trading, and that way I'm in and out of the market, and I'm not holding money in the market overnight with all these unknowns and uncertainties. But yeah, that's where I'm at now. So you just gotta be smart. But like right now, there's nothing. At least AYTU is starting to come back up some, which is a good thing. I had a little sell off today, but there's been a lot of manipulation with this stock, so it's hard to say what's going to happen with it too. Because AYTU could come out with the press release with the test and all that stuff, and it might just run up to 250 or maybe even 3, but it might not run as big as we think it's going to run. It may not run to $5 or $10. All the big investors that are in it, they might start dropping shares off at $3 or $2.50 because they've got big money in it. So if you've got 1 million shares that you got at $1.29 and the stock goes up to $2.50, that's $1.50 a share on a 1 million shares. That's a whole nother. It's $1.5 million in profit. So the big investors don't need this stock to move that big for them to make big money. Us as retail traders, we want it to run big because then we can actually make some decent money on this stock. So that's what you got to look at and keep in mind. There is big money in this stock right now, and if they decide that it's time to get out, that they only wanted to double up their money with another 1.5 million or something, then they may start dumping at 250. So it's something you got to be aware of. And then once again, it could turn out that the press release with the test and all that, when it comes out, that maybe more investors get excited and start buying, and it just rips up to $5 or $10. Either one could happen at this point. But I think if anybody, is in on this, I think, if it does get up to $2.50 or something, or even $3 would be a good place to lock in at, because it hit $3 right here and came right back down. A lot of selling pressure at $3. So if it was to get up to $3, you might want to take some shares off. Lock in some profit there and keep some shares if you think that it's going to break 3. But yeah, that's pretty much all the talking I wanted to do. The self-reflection of my bad trading, the issues with my trading, and the things I've been doing wrong. And now all there is to do is correct it. I just have to correct everything and stay disciplined. So if you guys have any stocks you want me to take a look at, or any questions about anything, we'll get into that. I didn't like I said, I didn't have any trades or anything planned for this live stream. It was just more of self-reflecting on what I've been doing wrong and what I need to do to fix it. Where am I? What am I on right now? There we go. So tomorrow we'll be back and ready for the action to see what happens tomorrow. I do think iMac needs to be on watch tomorrow. Just because it possibly could get a continuation. The 200-day moving average is right here at 225. It pretty much held up in that area, that 210, 225 area. But the bottom of this candle closed at 225. Where's that? Yeah, it closed at 225. So I probably wouldn't expect a huge rip on it tomorrow, but if it opens up around that 225 area and starts getting some volume, it is possible, it could get a quick rip up to 250 or even $3 and could make for a good day trade. I definitely wouldn't swing this, but I do think it has potential for tomorrow, depending on what's going on. But yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything you want to talk about, I'm open for it. I'll let the stream go for a little bit longer. Now, I want you to explain this to me, because what you're saying right now, Daniel B., is you're saying that Warren Buffett is bad at investing. Why is airlines a bad investment? Why would Warren Buffett just buy a ton of Delta at $37? Is he getting old and senile? I'm just curious. This is not my argument, because I don't feel one way or the other about airlines. I think if they're super cheap, then you can get them maybe at a discount price when we get closer to the bottom. They're always losing money. Why would Warren Buffett buy it, though? That's my question. If they're always losing money and they're a bad investment, why would one of the most revered investors buy it? Oh, I know there is something I want to look at. Mark Cuban. I don't know if you guys like Mark Cuban. I like Mark Cuban. A lot of people think he's an asshole. He may be, but Mark Cuban seems to be a pretty honest guy. I've seen a lot of stuff he said, and I've been like, yeah, that was pretty honest. So there's two stocks that he invested in. I just want to take a look at. I got to try to remember what they were. I just wanted to see something about those stocks. What were those stocks? He tweeted it out. He tweeted out Twitter was one of them. What is Twitter's? There it is. So my question is, why did he buy in the Twitter? Okay, I was just curious to, what your argument would be against Warren Buffett, Daniel B. That's all I was asking. But Mark Cuban, his Twitter, and I thought a lot of people had stopped using Twitter. But why is Mark Cuban buying Twitter? I mean, Twitter does have a long way to rebound. I mean, back in September, it was all the way up at $45. And for some reason, I had a gap down there. Buffett bought Apple shares. Maybe he is going senile, because if he bought Apple shares, then something's wrong with him. You guys know I do not like Apple. What was the other one? There was another one that Mark Cuban bought. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. I wanted to see what it was about. But it was some entertainment company. I just can't remember the name of it. Just for long-term purposes, because like I said, if Mark Cuban bought it, I want to wait and see if it gets cheaper, and then I might buy in. If I look at it and it seems like it's a good investment. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. It was some entertainment company, but I'll look for it and try to figure it out again. But yeah, if we do rebound and don't actually crash tomorrow, then that would be very interesting, because at some point, I've got to make a decision of when I want to start buying long term, because this is whether this is the bottom here or the bottom is even lower. At some point, I want to start buying some of these discount stocks, because it may be another 20 years or 50 years before we have another big market pullback like this. So you got to take advantage of the time. But we'll see what happens. Let's see, and AYTU got all the way up to 175 there for a second. Yeah, you can see here, this is how you know you don't know what's going to happen. The markets right now don't know what's going to happen. You got half of it red, half of it green. So tomorrow's going to be a sad day for somebody. the Bears or the Bulls are going to get ate up. One of the two. Everybody who's going short against the market is either going to be very happy tomorrow or very sad. And same thing with everybody who's going long. Because it's probably going to move one way or the other tomorrow in probably a dramatic fashion. So just be ready for that. Oh, look at there, iMac with a little rebound in after hours. Up to 250. Big old bowl there on iMac. Kind of a bowl looking thing on AYTU as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So like I said, if you got anything that you guys want to talk about, any questions, I'm up for it. You can go ahead and start throwing them in there, and we'll go over it. If not, we'll end the stream here shortly because there's not really a lot going to be happening in after hours probably. Look down this top gainer list, see if anything sticks out to me. The SIEN. All right, Daniel B. Well, we'll see you tomorrow morning. We'll be up bright and early to see what happens. Which way is the market going to go? It's like a game show at this point. I feel like instead of the bell ringing when the market opens, the ding, 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 I think it should be Vanna White. That's a really loud motorcycle because the road's not that close to my house. If you guys heard that. That's really loud. But yeah, like I was saying, it should be Vanna White's voice should come on at market open at 9:30. Say, which way is the market gonna go? So yeah, while you guys are just thinking about whatever you want to talk about or whatnot, I'm gonna look at some of these stocks on this scanner here. A lot of garbage ones. See what we got there with CMTL. Comtech. I hit a pretty low. Groupon. So another CEO stepping down. CEO stepping down from Groupon. A lot of CEOs have stepped down in the past year. Excel Entertainment. It's a pretty big rip there. Here's the thing though, Mark, if you're still in here. Here's the thing about the airline stocks. And this is for all the travel stocks. Think about it don't think about it from a stock market perspective. Think about it from a everyday person's perspective. everybody's going into lockdowns and quarantines, and they can't travel and they can't go on vacations, and money probably is going to be a little tight. But once the market rebounds, once this is all over with, most people are going to be so sick and tired of being in their house. They're probably going to start going on vacation. I'd say there will be a lot of vacationing happening once we are through all this. If the travel industry can make it through, then it is very possible that, there could be a pretty big surge in the travel industry after all this. So that's something, to think about. Because once people are starting to make money again and they can get out of their house, then they're going to be excited. And they're going to want to go on vacation. That's an interesting stock here. Wow. Very interesting. So I might actually add Colony Financials to one of my... I'm going to add this to my big watch list for when we do get to the bottom of the market. The reason why this stock grabbed my attention is because of how cheap it is right now. And it was down at $1.33. But they pay a quarterly dividend, and that quarterly dividend is 11 cents. Let me see how long they've been paying this quarterly dividend. Let me make sure this is not a... let's see. Yeah, okay. So they've been paying it, looks like the past 2 years just about quarterly. The stock is kind of on a downtrend. So yeah, I want to actually look at this stock a little closer, look at its financials. But if this company ends up having pretty good financials, that's a 44-cent dividend. And if this comes down to $1, if this comes down to $1 or even lower, and they make it through this recession and they start paying this dividend again, which they may not stop. I don't know. Like I said, I gotta look at their finances. But that would be really, really cheap. Yeah, let me write this down. I have a whole list that I'm working on. AYTU is not doing anything. So that was Colony. What is this? Colony Credit Real Estate. This is another one. I'm going to write it down too. CLNC. Probably same company, but... $2.27. $1.30. Is this a monthly dividend? Interesting. What is this? ANG Investment Corp. So this stock pays a monthly dividend. Looks like it's been paying this dividend for a while. This is the 10-year... Let's see. Yeah, on the 10-year chart, they've been paying this dividend for 10 years. Back then, it was actually a little more. But still 16 cents monthly. That's a pretty high yielding dividend, really. It's another one I want to keep an eye on. BBGI. Beasley Broadcast Group. They were actually starting to get a bounce up. I'm going to write this one down too. It's pretty cheap. More AM. That's a real estate trust. They actually pay a pretty decent dividend too. I'm gonna write that one down. KREF. That's a quarterly dividend. Retail properties. Interesting. So I'm just looking around here. DAG Media. There's a lot of dividend stocks that have moved today. National Cinemedia. ROIC. It's another cheap one. What is this? BlackRock Capital. BKCC. Crestwood Equity Partners. Advanced Emission Solutions. It's not something I'd want to mess with. BG Staffing. See, Eidos Therapeutics. Hmm. VT, what are you doing? So I'm just looking down this scanner list for the day, just seeing what people are buying during a rebound like this. Solar Senior Capital. You know what? Let's write that one down too. CADA. MBOT. Gladstone Capital. That's not one I'm terribly interested in. A lot. I think I've already got that on the list. PBFX. How much is that? Let's see. February, November. So that's quarterly dividends. It's like $2 a. PBFX. Core Point Lodging. APTS, what is this? Preferred Apartment Communities. That's about $1. PGRE. Grow. What is Grow? Oh, U.S. Global Investors. Stock is 92 cents. And they pay a very low dividend. Jernigan Capital. TPG Specialty Lending. Main Street Capital. Oh, that's an interesting one. Capital, okay. HTGC. That's a pretty good one too. NMBL. Pretty good one. MPLX. EKEP. GLOP. Alright, well that's it for me today. We'll be back here tomorrow morning for some day trading and seeing what the market's going to do. So thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow.